Taking the same content and applying it to different audiences can be a bit challenging sometimes. I've gone from one extreme of speaking in front of all the deans of engineering in Canada to something more like this talk, which was for high school girls. Adapting content is challenging, but it's also really rewarding because it means you get to chat with more people. Hi, Vanessa Raquel here. Please remember to like and subscribe if you're interested in this channel, this video, and what's going on in general. Woo, ooh, 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 ooh. Vlogging. So if you're watching the playlist in order, you've probably noticed that I've presented in a lot of different venues, a lot of different ways over the years. The video you're going to see today is one that I gave in front of high school students. Some key things that I want to call out about this video. This talk happened after the last talk in the playlist that I gave, which means that I had already committed to being more authentic and vulnerable in front of audiences when I give my talks. And because the audience was about 200 high school girls, I figured there was a high suspicion that somebody in the audience had been through something similar that I had been through in their past. It was really important to me that these girls knew that they were not alone and that they could have a similar path to me if they wanted to. Another thing I want to call out is my appearance. So this is basically one of my cringiest videos because I have a double chin in like 8,000% of the video. But at the same time, I think it's important to have a double chin exposed to children this age. I don't think that I'm fat. I don't think that it's a tragedy. I just know that it's a more unflattering angle of myself for the vast majority of the video. And honestly, it did bum me out a lot at the beginning, but I had intentionally not worn makeup that day. I had intentionally worn an outfit that was kind of chill. I was specifically trying to kind of help get on to the level of my audience. So this is really important. When I was presenting in front of all those deans, I had next to a suit on because I wanted them to think of me as their equals. Similarly here, I had no makeup on and was trying to just be chill and casual because I wanted to be on their level as well. And then the last thing I want to call out about this panel was that the other women on the panel were incredible. They inspired the bananas out of me. Is that an expression? Who knows? All the other women on the panel were so incredible. And I really encourage you after you watch my section to go and watch the full video because it's absolutely amazing and you're gonna be so inspired. So as per usual, I'm just gonna be including kind of a small snippet into this video. As a reminder, this kind of stage of my YouTube channel is just showing past videos of me that already exist on the internet. But what you can expect in the future is just kind of a vlog about life, advice, and stories from the perspective of a queer woman of color. So if that interests you, please like and subscribe. And without further ado, the video.
We're fortunate to have 4 panelists representing a range of specialties and work experience. What I will do to start off the session is I'll be inviting each of the panelists to tell us a little bit about themselves and their career path. I'll be moderating the discussion, but the floor is always open for questions. So even as they're getting started, telling us about themselves, feel free to form a line at the microphone so we can fit in as many questions as we can and not be kind of caught at the end with lots of questions at the end. So feel free to get started because indeed questions from you are going to be far more interesting than questions from me. So Vanessa, let's get started with you. Could you take a few moments to introduce yourself and tell the women here a little bit about your story?
For sure. So thank you so much to the Perimeter Institute for having me. My name is Vanessa Raponi, and I am an engineer. So kind of growing up, I didn't really know much about engineering, and I was just kind of in the sciences and maths because my mom recommended it, and she was like, it'll help keep your options open if you just kind of stay in those things. And I kind of stumbled into engineering. It was 2 individual conversations with one friend from swimming lessons who was 1 year older than me and one friend's dad who happened to work at Bombardier. So these 2 experiences is what led me to apply for engineering in grade 12. And then I went to McMaster with a dual degree in engineering and business. So I'm a materials engineer, and then I also have a management dual major. And throughout university, you can do these things called co-ops where you actually get paid over the summer to work in industry. So I had the opportunity to work at Bombardier Aerospace, Pepsi, both foods and beverages manufacturing. I got to go to France for 8 months where I did an exchange program doing research and studying at the Grenoble Institute of Technology and also working in Vancouver for a little bit. So really kind of exploring my options. And I ended up working at Spin Master in Toronto. So it's a toy manufacturing company. We created Paw Patrol, which is pretty exciting. And we're actually Canadian founded, and we're mostly because of Paw Patrol, we are now like number 4 in the industry. So it's been really exciting to work there as a product development engineer where I work on like remote controlled cars and games. So very fun job. Throughout my undergrad, I also, at some point, created a national not-for-profit organization called Queers Canada. So I'm a queer woman of color, and I've been really passionate about intersectional feminism and, just advocating for a broader spectrum of diversity than just saying we need women in various spaces. And I was able to kind of just create this organization at McMaster, and it slowly grew to 32 universities over 9 provinces over the years. And it's just this need for having broader discussions around diversity and talking about queer issues and having queer communities within STEM was just really, really needed, and it was really exciting to kind of go on that journey. And just one thing I wanted to kind of note is that, I've been in these audiences of these kinds of things at different stages of my life, and sometimes, a lot of you are, between the ages of like 14 to 18, you're going through all sorts of stuff right now. And I don't want you in any way to feel like intimidated, like, oh, these are these people who've done all these things, and am I ever gonna get there? And so I just wanted to share a little bit about my background, because undoubtedly a lot of people in the audience have shared things like this with me. So, forgive me for the heaviness, but I just want you to know that throughout my journey, like, I have overcome, my father has been homeless and had mental illness. I've been suicidal at different points in my life. I overcame child sexual abuse from my stepfather. There's been so many things that have happened. My mom immigrated from Sri Lanka, and we didn't have a lot of money growing up. So I don't want you to think that if you have been through these different hardships in life that, you can't have a path to success. You can't overcome these things if you're struggling in something right now. And so I want you to know that, like, people like us have been through these things too, and that you are not alone, and there are other resources for you. So I just always want to make sure I say those kinds of things when I'm on the stage. So thank you for your time, and I'll pass it on.
Very much.